of the first questions you remember being asked when you're in preliminary school is probably, what do you want to be when you grow up? The world, almost essentially from birth, dictates that, you must be a tool for the rest of society, And what I think is really interesting is that for a lot of people, this slips their mind, right, as they go through life. They kind of forget, the things that they were drawn to intrinsically when they were in their adolescence. But it's almost as if that's that untainted perspective, the one where you truly never cared for the opinions of other people. You were only drawn to things because they interested you. They gave you some sort of fulfillment. So then you get asked the same question again. It's phrased a different way, of course. They ask you, what do you want your profession to be? Right? You get out of college, you must have a profession. You have to serve the world in some way, right? Whether you're a man and you must find some sort of occupation, some sort of job to help the world, or you're a woman and you're forced into bearing children. Essentially, you must settle down, you must provide for your family in some sort of way, right? And I'm not obviously creating gender roles, and society does that for me, but for a lot of people that is reality. And so people lose themselves. That little area between when you're a child and when you graduate, you tend to lose yourself because you're quite often ridiculed for the way you do things, the way you act, the way you speak, all things that are out of your control. It seems that a lot of people never truly lose this identity, this fake mask that they get, the one that they need to appease people. And so in the process, they lose themselves and they never truly figure out who they are. So I want to ask you one question. Are you truly secure in your identity? Do you truly believe you have everything that you need to be successful and that you are exactly who you want to be? Because that's the question at the end of the day. And if your child self was to see you now, would they be impressed? Would they be happy for you? Or would they feel an immense amount of pity, right? And so this monster of insecurity is one that not only young men, but every single person on the planet faces. Every single person has some sort of insecurity, right? So what are the ways that you can overcome it? Before you can truly fix your insecurity, you have to first address who you really are. And that's not who you want to be, that's who you are, right? And whether that's dictated by fate, biology, etc., whatever your belief is, you have to find it. And you have to find a reason why you are who you are. And once you find that, you can start to bring a sense of acceptance to yourself, to your identity, right? Truly accept you are who you are. And you can't make people like you for who you aren't or for who you are. There's no way to control other people, right? And a lot of people get lost in that fact. They feel like they have to control every single person around them. They want to embrace and keep people, draw people to them. They have to feel like they're always satisfying someone else's wants. What are your wants, right? You don't need the validation of other people to be happy in who you are, right? And that doesn't mean don't care, right? That doesn't mean you shouldn't care about what people think, because that's instinctual, that's biology. But it means that you shouldn't change who you are based off the opinions of other people, right? You can't do anything about that at the end of the day. Trying to go against something that's written within your genetic code is usually going to be a futile process. So once you begin to do that, once you understand the way that people respond to you, the reason they say things, it's generally true that when people say things and they mean to hurt you, they truly don't mean it, right? The people that are laughing at you, the people that scold you and tell you that you're obsolete, that you're inadequate, etc., they're usually people that are hurt themselves. They're projecting those feelings. They're acting the aggressor, and generally they don't want to make you feel bad. They want to make themselves feel better. And so that, you shouldn't really take what people say to heart. And you need to understand, if you have a deep emotional connection with someone and they truly are trying to signal something to you, you don't just throw it to the side, right? You generally consider what they should be trying to tell you, and you should take it to heart. I'm not saying you should, go out of your way to change everything about yourself just because someone you formed a deep emotional connection with says that this is bad, right? But if you have negative traits, those are things that generally stem from mistreatment in childhood. Those are things that you can, generally address, right? Those are things that you can treat. And so, it's okay. It's normal to not be able to rid yourself of all of these values. But at the end of the day, we want to be the best person we can be, right? And so that acceptance, that understanding of other people's emotions, their projections, it'll help you a lot. It's a majority of this process, accepting yourself and fighting that insecurity. A lot of people have an additional problem where they have these giant safety barriers. They don't let anyone get close to them because they're so afraid of people knowing who they really are. They're so afraid of having to fight. And you have to bring down those walls. You'll never form a connection with anyone if they stay up. And you have to understand is that the reason that those walls are up in the first place is because you've been mistreated throughout your entire life. And the way you respond to things is the way that things truly are for yourself, right? Nothing can mean anything to you if you don't let it, right? You are essentially the master of your own perspective. In a world full of perspectives, that gives you a lot of options, right? But at the same time, you need to learn to live within your own means. What do I mean by that? Well, you can't change other people in the way that you think you can. You can nurture them. You can tell them exactly what I'm telling you right now, but you can never really change the way that they think. The only way that someone will ever change how they truly think is for them to assess it themselves and truly relive those experiences that changed them. Well, I see a lot of people, and I know a lot of people personally, that simply give up in the process of fighting anything. They stick their head in the sand and they make excuses for why they shouldn't do something or why they couldn't do something. You should attempt everything. And it's only when you attempt everything can you find what's truly possible. And in the effort of doing so, you'll find that truly everything is possible.